You who may not know, John Danielson, a new interim city manager, I'm just wanting to point him out to you. Most of you do, but not everybody does. John?
City manager's report, Mr. Mayor?
Right?
If you want the city manager's report, okay. I just wanted to point out for the council's attention this evening that the majority of the complaints I'm now receiving in regards to trash are in terms of, not all complaints, but the majority of complaints are on cans left out longer than the designated period of pickup. It's not that we're not having service issues, not that there's still not rate concerns, but the majority of complaints I'm receiving are cans left out excessive time. And I just wanted to offer to the council, if it was their pleasure, would you like staff to return with some sort of an administrative, what other cities have done along those lines, maybe an administrative citation, maybe a warning system or something? Would the council be interested in it? If so, I'd be happy to bring that back next month, or not.
Well, this subject came up, everybody could remember, on the 15th of December, and Nadine brought that up as well. And my recollection is that the majority of the council members suggested that may be something that we'd like to agenda in a future meeting. So on my behalf, I think that would be something I endorse seeing. I don't know how other people feel at this point in time.
So I have a comment. In your staff report, you state that you've received requests, habitually placed waste and recycling containers on curbside in advance of collection day and or leaving the containers at these locations long after containers. For instance, before coming to our meeting tonight at 5 o'clock, I wheeled my containers out and have them all set up and staged for tomorrow morning pickup, because when I get home tonight at 11 o'clock, I'm not going to drag them out, and they come early morning, 6 o'clock. And so, where's the cutoff? I mean, would I be violating this in advance of collection day?
Well, of course, that would be council's call. Most communities put some sort of time restriction on how far in advance, particularly for working families. I can't get to it sometimes, but the morning time or late in the evening before. That's a council call. And I would also say that this would not affect those residents. I received calls today on cans that were not picked up at all. So that's why we would go to an administrative citation policy saying that extenuating circumstances, we could waive those in-house, where the neighbor boy forgets to take your can out the iron and do it. So that's why I suggested it's administrative under your guidance.
Well, my position in this is very simple. I've always, since we started weekly pickups, the number of cans, in my belief, that are left outside has increased tremendously, because people just say, it's only another week, I'll just leave them in the gardens that they come in. And then they'll, so I think it's become much worse. We are a nice town. We like to tell ourselves that we're a countrified town and that we keep it tidy. But multiple trash cans, I just counted today in one resident, there were 12 trash cans out there that had been there for at least 3 days. So I would say that this is an item that I feel quite good about. I think maybe perhaps before we go to some form of administrative fines, we write a letter to every resident, tell every resident that this is something that we're considering, and would they please try.
Mayor, I just wanted, for the city manager's report, I think it was simply seeking some direction to come back at a future item, so let's try to prevent that.
Without going into particulars, I'd be agreeable to seeing what our options are.
I would say come back.
Take a look at it, John.
Thank you. My report.
The Community Organization Roundtable report, I don't think there is one. So now we go to the consent calendar. For the consent calendar, any council member who wishes to pull one of the items off the consent calendar for discussion can do so. And also, any member of the public that wishes to pull one or more items off the consent calendar for discussion can do so. So I will ask the council first.
I simply have a request to make with regard to item number 10, and I would like to pull item number 13.
Okay. Bill?
No, I've got my item pulled. I had 13.
Oh, you get 13, okay. Elizabeth?
I'm fine.
None? Okay, so the only two items that have been pulled at item 10 and 13, are there any items the public would like to pull? Seeing none, we will then go to the regular agenda.
A motion to accept the consent calendar.
Yes, we need a motion to accept the
I'll
consent.
move to approve the consent calendar except for item number 13, which will be discussed at a later date. And maybe, Mary, you might want to ask Councilmember McKeithen's question about number 10.
You want number 10 pulled, or you just want to?
I just want to reiterate my request that I made 2 months ago. Could we have back in that report the percentage comparisons to last year? We used to have comparisons with the revenue and expenditures to the previous year, and they're not in there anymore.
Are you referring to the percentage or the dollar amount?
The percentage and the dollar
The
amount.
dollar amount is actually on the last column.
But the percentages, I want both of them.
Okay.
So if you could put that back in the report,
Okay.
because it's not in the column, but in the report,
In the report.
where we
okay,
have,
staff
you know,
report.
where it's comparable in the staff report as it was before, so you can see what the percentage was this year to revenue, and as well as last year.
And when Councilmember McKeithen, you're referring to the staff report, you're not.
The staff report, not the columns. Yes, please.
Okay, we
That's
have
all I
a,
want.
we have a motion to approve the consent calendar without item number 13.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. And I'm going to schedule item number 13 after we've discussed the rest. So we now go to item number 14. And this is approve an action plan for a trial closure of Holbrook Lane at time limits. Duncan, do you address this one?
Yes, the Transportation Committee has been working on the traffic issues on Holbrook Lane for quite a number of years. I've put quite a bit of the history of what we have tried to do to help out over there in the staff report. And at their last meeting, they recommended that we prepare an action plan primarily to go to the public with the concept of closing the road at the town limits on Holbrook Lane. That action plan would basically, is outlined in the analysis, would consist of a public outreach with one or more meetings. I would work very closely with the county to determine where to hold those meetings, quite possibly at the North Fair Oaks Community Center, so it would be central to the area that's concerned about it. We recommend that the closure would be on a trial basis. There's been some discussion about doing a traffic study to determine what would happen with a closure. It would be very difficult and quite expensive to try to predict what would happen with the closure of this road versus it would be fairly inexpensive to have a trial and then see what happens, and then if it doesn't work very well, we can open the road again. We are going to be taking traffic counts. We're taking traffic counts now. We're using some of the new equipment that the police department has to get both counts and speed of vehicles on the street. And as soon as we, if the council were to decide to implement a closure, we would then take some counts immediately after the closure and then some counts a little while near the end of the closure, so we see how traffic was behaving as a result of the trial. And finally, we would be working very closely with Menlo Fire to make sure that they were satisfied that they had all the access and turnaround capabilities that they would need.